that this particular presentation, I'm not going to get into any type of politics, even though some of the articles that I'm going to refer to mention politics. But I'm actually bringing up a few articles. There's three articles, and then we're going to have a discussion. Okay, so the topic of this particular live stream, the main event, is what was in pop culture. So, what I wanted to do, I wanted to basically kind of put people in the mind frame of where the word woke actually originated and why that particular word was used. So, the closest thing that I can find in regards to the particular the word, of course, this is what does woke mean. This is coming from the human rights careers. Of course, this is referring to the governor Ron DeSantis. Stay woke. Okay, so the original word, and this is I'm gonna add to this because this didn't really go into the whole framework of how or where the word woke came from or what it was used for. But basically, what I want to focus on, um, the word originally originated from a blues musician named Leadbelly in 1938. So what happened was in 1938, the American blues singer Leadbelly released a song about Scottsboro boys who were non-black teenagers accused of rape in Alabama. Despite evidence of their innocence, 8 of the 9 were found guilty by an all-white jury and sentenced to death. While they escaped execution, they were nearly lynched and ended up in prison for years. This is a history lesson, folks. So, in an interview about the song, Leadbelly, which is a popular blues singer, said, I advise everyone to be a little careful when they go down there to Alabama. Best stay woke, keep your eyes open. Woke was a term created by and for the black community. To be woke was to be smart and alert to racism. Now, one thing that this article actually excluded, woke was also used in the mid 2000s, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel can attest to this for the most part. Woke was actually used in terms of us understanding certain things about American history. As you all know, American history is American history, and there's a lot of facets of American history, but there are aspects of American history that aren't taught in school, particularly certain instances in regard to Black history. One of the things in particular was Black Wall Street, which was actually in Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. Black Wall Street was the actual city that was created by Black people, freed slaves, back in the excuse me, in the early 1900s, so around that time frame. The actual town was actually a flourishing town. It had businesses, it had schools, churches, hospital, uh, the whole nine, grocery stores. And what happened was a particular group of people came through and said, "Hey, we can't have this anymore. We don't want y'all to flourish." So they actually, and this is actually, you can look this up. This is considered one of the first instances of domestic terrorism in America because they actually use they use prop planes. Actually, you know how they fertilize and use the pesticides. They use those to drop bombs on that city, right?
Mm.
A lot of people died. Black folks died. White folks died. But at the end, there was a lot of violence and whatnot. So the word woke actually depicted black people learning about history that wasn't actually taught in school. Greenwood is another, well, not Greenwood, but Rosewood is another down in Florida. Uh,
Yeah.
Seneca Village was in Central Park, was actually a village that was inhabited by both black people and white people.
Yep.
I think mainly Scottish and Irish. I'm not totally sure about
That was
that, but
great.
the state of New York decided that they want to claim that part of Central Park for the city, so they ran everybody out. There was a race war in 1913 in Atlanta. People don't know anything about that. So the word woke was actually intended to allow for black people to say, "Hey, we need to stay woke. We need to learn about this stuff that's not getting taught in schools." Now, basically, what it actually has evolved to, woke originally
Hijack.
meant to be aware of justices, like I stated, and you're right. You're absolutely right, Remo. But
Yep.
do people still define the term in this way? According to a 2023 U.S. Today post, 50% of Americans believe woke means being informed about social injustices. 39% define the term as being overly politically correct, which is wrong.
Yep.
I mean, now of course they've hijacked it to where it means that, but that's not what it meant. And policing the words of others, the participants' political affiliation mattered. 50% of survey Republicans saw the term in a negative light. They viewed wokeness as a tool to suppress speech, which is not true. I don't know why that blew up like that. And policing the words of others. Now, going to another article, says here's what woke means in response to it. There was a considerable anxiety in supporters about political correctness, particularly in universities, blah, blah, blah. Typically, wokeness and woke ideology are terms of abuse used against a variety of practices that, despite their diversity, have a similar character. Again, this is not correct because I just explained the definition, and if I'm wrong, Matt, Remo, and Chris can tell you otherwise. So I wanted to point that out because I'm going to another article, and this is where the topic actually gets interesting. So by me explaining what woke means and now explaining what woke actually what used to mean and what it currently means now, I want to pose a question to the panel in terms of woke pop culture. Now, woke pop culture in many instances is basically individuals that are not comfortable with certain things that happens in pop culture, whether it be the LGBTQ community, whether it be quote unquote DEI, diversity, and whatever the EI means, um, race popping characters, the whole 9 yards. Those things are typically considered to be woke. Now, I brought up this interview. Shout out to Afro Samurai, yes, but I brought this interview. The Hollywood Reporter, Nelson Peltz. I don't know who this guy is. I think he actually either works for Disney or he's a
My
shareholder.
brother downloaded Tony Braxton album, boy.
That's right. You mean the world to me? Yes, Tony Braxton is in his house. Nelson Peltz criticizes Disney woke film strategy with Black Panther and the Marvels. Now I watched both of these movies, right? Now, one thing about woke pop culture is that a lot of people, I don't know if these people are incels or what, but for some reason they have an issue with women playing leading roles in movies. Now, let me just clarify this. If you are older than 40 years old, you should know that throughout history that women have had leading roles in movies. One of the biggest movies that came out a few years ago was a spinoff of Ocean's 11, where the entire cast of that movie, I don't know if it was Ocean's 8 or 9, but
It was
the
8.
entire cast of that movie,
It was
it was 8. It was all women.
Yep.
Nobody better than I that.
And unfortunately,
Because that movie, it encompassed Sandra Bullock. I can't remember the other women in the movie. Sandra Bullock was like one of the main characters. And that movie was a spinoff of Ocean's. I think George Clooney made a cameo in the movie.
Yep.
But it was an all-female movie. Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie played a main character in that movie. And if I'm not mistaken, that movie, it had a sequel to it, and that did very well.
It was a franchise.
It was a franchise, right? Going back even further, Elizabeth Taylor, she played a leading role as Cleopatra.
Yeah.
In Her, I think that's the name of the movie.
I got one. Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead.
Alien.
yeah,
right.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, exactly. You got Ripley. What's her name? I can't remember the actress's name. Sigourney Weaver. She played a main character.
Yep.
Terminator. What's her face?
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Yep.
There was
Carrie Fisher. She played a main character in a movie called Star Wars, if y'all don't know. So what I'm trying to understand with this whole woke culture thing, they talked about the Marvels, and one of the biggest arguments that I saw on the internet about the Marvels that it was an all-female cast. How is that woke? Just trying to answer the question. If anybody in the chat asks, go ahead.
When they hijacked it, I always assumed when they started using it in pop culture, it was more a dig at the people who did know what was up. You know what I mean? And the people who didn't know, it would seem like you were down talking them because they were quote unquote. You made woke a bad word. You know, when woke was more so a code word of sorts for us to stay woke. Like, hey man, stay vigilant.
Yep.
Know that the man is on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay woke. Like, pay attention.
Keep your eyes open. Head on a swivel.
Like, that's what it was. It was never about, you need to be accepting of X, Y, and Z. Nah, it had nothing to do with that. Sorry to burst your bubble. Had nothing to do with it. You know, and this word got hijacked in the last 5 years,
6 years to where it's no longer what it actually.
You don't even use the shit no more.
Actually, me.
Just identify.
But even in current culture, the word still isn't used. Okay, I got an example.
See.
Okay, so I was on. I'll let you speak in a second, G-Man. I was on Instagram. I'm on and off Instagram. Like, social media makes me sick now, but that's a whole nother story. I was on Instagram. I follow this guy named Joey Swole. If you don't know who he is, he's a bodybuilder. I don't know where he's from, but he's a pretty cool guy. I like his attitude and his mentality about a lot of things. His claim to fame is that he actually watches videos of people in gyms, male, female, black, white, it don't matter. If that person is doing something egregious, like, you know, most fitness influencers now, they try to, you know, record videos in gyms and post them on the internet. But some of them, they get real nasty if somebody walks in front of the camera and impedes the vision, and they make comments and then they post it on the internet. Well, Joey does commentary on those people. Okay, so there was one video that he actually did where it was this girl, it was this white girl, and she was trying to do some exercises, and somebody, of course, walked in front of her camera. She got upset, and she posted it on the internet, and of course, at being him, that's his lane, he decided that he wanted to respond. Well, somebody in the comments indicated that that people enjoy Swole's camp. Some of his followers and supporters went to her IG page and started harassing her and bullying her, which, you know, it's not cool, but you can't control how other grown people act.
Yeah.
One person in the comment section, which I was actually led to respond to him, said, how, you know, your people are going over to her page and harassing her and bullying her in this society of wokeness. How is that right? And I responded to him as like, bro, what is woke about that? People been bullying folks since caveman days. I'm pretty sure some strong cavemen were pushing around skinny cavemen talking about Uncle Bunga, you don't know how to make a wheel, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People have taken that word and that phrase and they use it for anything that they don't typically agree with and they don't like. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing that word because it's being used to death, it's bastardized, and at this particular point, especially in pop culture, how can you actually call anything in pop culture woke? Now, I'm going to say this and I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the panel. Now, there are certain things that I know some of us on the panel have talked about that we don't agree with. Yeah. One of the things that most of us don't agree with is the race swapping. As a black man, I feel as though I don't need a representation of somebody switching the color for one character from black to white or white to black or whatever the case is. And I know some of the people on the panel agree. What I do have problems with is the fact that this is actually being called woke when in history, if you look at the history of Hollywood, the race swapping has been done forever. Cleopatra.
Yep.
The Commandments. There were issues where white actors portrayed Asian people.
Yep.
In a stereotypical way. Black people, blackface. So the argument when people start talking about, well, yeah, they don't need to do that. I typically agree, but I don't agree in the manner that they agree in because, of course, that word, that four-letter word, woke, comes into play. So my thing is that we look at a particular situation, we don't like a certain situation. Like I said, the Marvels, people were calling that woke because it was an all-female cast. There's nothing woke about that because we've seen that before in history. We've seen that before. You just didn't like that movie because of Brie Larson. Brie Larson kind of I'm gonna be honest with you. Brie Larson, she
I
made some
mean,
comments years ago
She
that a
made
lot of
something
folks
she
didn't
could never
like.
get back.
Exactly. She made some comments that a lot of people didn't like, and I kind of turned my eyebrow up like the Rock with some of the stuff she said. I'm like, okay, Brie Larson, you aren't the first woman to play a superhero in a movie. You're not the first woman that played a superhero on TV, but I'm gonna let you have your time in the sun. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I think the whole issue with when it comes down to this woke and pop culture, a lot of times it's just because people just don't like what they see, and it's not necessarily a situation where somebody's being overly. Now there are certain situations where that's been done, but when it comes down to stuff like the Marvel movies and various TV shows, I honestly don't see what these people are talking about. When it comes down to Black Panther, what did they expect them to do? A lot of people expected them to recast T'Challa. May rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. They didn't do that. They went with the next best thing, which was Shuri. We all know, as comic book readers and comic book collectors, Shuri is the sister of Black Panther. And in the comic book, she actually became Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
So what is woke about that? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet for a while, and I'm gonna let y'all actually give y'all's opinions on the idea of wokeness and pop
Truly.
culture. Start with you.
I am
sir.
so happy that you brought this subject up and actually brought up the definitions. There's a gentleman out there I hope is watching this show tonight. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a comic book collector and he's out of California and he does movies. And this discussion came up like 2 months ago on his stream. And he was just doing the stream by himself and he was explaining wokeness, this whole subject. I'm so happy you put this up because in his definition, woke to him was white supremacy. He was taking it to a racial platform because of his sexual orientation. And I was like, wow, I have to say something to this guy. I think he's taking things out of text. And sure enough, he has. So I'm really happy you put this up, Al. So just had to say that, put that out there. I hope you're watching, learning something.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's
Thank you for this.
in the past actually used the word in context,
I've used it too incorrectly. I really have.
like to see it happen in society to whereas my daughter even sees it as a negative connotation. Like, I'm not attached to the word. Let's just say that.
No.
I don't care. I don't care
Right.
with the word, but it's just funny how something can get grasped and taken so quickly and switched into a whole other narrative painted by someone who's not from the culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's no. I guess that kind of leads back to the initial question. I mean, it is pop culture, so it's no longer ours. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, like
Yeah, it does.
it becomes whatever.
It's been misrepresented.
Or just whatever pop culture changes it to.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of, it's like, okay, it's like you let it go and then that's what it morphed into. It's like, but okay. It's like, I don't have enough invested into it. It was such a late term that people used it. Like I said, it was something that was under, you see how it started.
Yeah.
It started by something that was in the secrets, in the shadows.
Yeah.
And I think maybe people said it too much in the out, in the ethos to where people, heard it a little too much and they kind of,
excellent subject.
repackaged it as whatever they wanted to use it as, and it came off as a negative. So.
I hope that guy's watching. I really do.
You can send this to him so he can get it.
Because it's perfect.
Share the video to him and be like,
he was getting information off of he was actually explaining what the word woke is meant and had nothing to do with what you showed, Al. Nothing to do with it. And I was like blown away by it. I'm like, man, where is this guy getting his information from? And it was from, what is that other one that everybody gets their Wikipedia?
Yeah.
If you notice how Wikipedia is used, everybody goes to that for facts, and it's not, because if you look at the bottom, it gets updated all the time from certain people in different language.
Yeah,
different
but it's not updated by the person.
Thank you. Yes, and it's
Like,
not.
I can go on there and make a Wikipedia about G-Man
Yes.
and say whatever I want to say about it, and people can come add on. And
Yes.
G-Man can't do nothing about it
Yep.
because he doesn't have access to that profile. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I never go by anything on
Sorry.
on there on Wikipedia. I pay no attention to it.
It's ridiculous, and that's what this guy.
I think I brought up Wikipedia recently to teach my daughter something, and I was like, "No, we're not. No, we can't. I can't even use it. Can't even show you this."
not
all the
using
time. Changes all the time.
Like, there's nothing in here that is true.
So I applaud you, Al. This was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time because it's certain times like like for example, over in TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok, but the word demure is actually being like bastardized over there. But it's gotten to a point to where I feel like a lot of people are just using that word as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, and this is just my personal opinion, I have seen certain things in pop culture that could be questionable in terms of certain things, which I'll keep to myself for now till another show. But at the same time, you have to understand that we live in a society now where things are not like they were back in 1950, 1970, 1990. So you have to adapt to change, and a lot of people don't really want to adapt to change. Change is inevitable. I mean, the seasons change, the years change. I've gotten gray hair everywhere. I'm changing. I'm going through chemotherapy. I'm changing. So you see certain things in life, in TV and movies and stuff, and it's like you have to understand that things may not be the way you want them to be, but everything that you actually label woke ain't woke. Based on your interpretation of your definition. Because, like I said, going back to the Marvel,
it's being
right.
Yep.
Going back to the Marvels movie, the worst thing in that movie was the musical sequence of the movie. I didn't think that was good. But the crazy part is, and I talked to Larry about this earlier, and I'm gonna let you speak in a sec, Chris. People would actually trash the Marvels based on what other people had said about the movie. But then when certain people, not everybody, but certain people, when you see certain, posts on social media, when they actually saw the movie, oh, that movie wasn't that bad. But when it first came out, it was, whoa. There's a high mentality in society that pushes narratives, and there's different aspects. It's not just one group of people, but there's subsections of people in society that always they get behind something and they push a narrative, and a lot of times, like Remo said, they don't know what the heck they're talking about, but because other people are talking about it, they gonna run with it like road running.
Yep.
And that's the things that I really dislike about society now. I was telling Larry, I wish we could go back to the 90s. Nah, things weren't perfect back then, but I promise you, it was a lot better than it is now. With that note, Chris, you go ahead and tell me what you think, bro.
So, me and my wife talk about this actually a lot because we rewatch a lot of television. So I've got a bit about it. I want to say that the journey of the road woke is, to me, a literal representation of the phrase that the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
Because it was originally designed for something good. It was intentional to help people. But it has gone so far now. And to me, I feel one of the reasons that it's gone the way that it has is because, and it's going to sound messed up, but I feel that the reason is that people don't have anything centralized to fight about right now. So they're finding stuff to be mad about. Our generation, the generations before us, we had tangible things in a lot of cases that you could put a hand on and be like, this is why I'm angry at the world. And this generation doesn't have that. They want representation. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. But literally everything that they're asking for is stuff that we were given. They want more female representation on television. Designing Women was a TV show about 4 women who pooled their money, who in the 80s, early 90s of Georgia started an interior design company and hired a black ex-con to be their handyman to help them deliver stuff. And the show was created by a woman.
Yeah.
It ran for like 8 seasons. All these things that they're asking for now, representation and to be heard and to have people up front, we've had those things.
Hey, Chris. Hey, panel. We had a show that was on NBC with old white women.
The Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. Yep.
Thank you for being a friend.
Man.
You know, you're a friend and a yeah, y'all know, and it ran for damn decade. So I'm telling you, man, that we have had, like you said, Chris, we have had shows. We've had
Cosby Show.
Right.
Yeah,
we've had these shows. We had Golden Girls. We had Designing Women. We had
We've
Living
black,
Single.
we've had black leading men. We've had
black leading women.
Mama's House.
Mama's Family. You know, we had the things that they're asking for, and it's like then they want to be mad and feel like no one's listening to them. And it's not that no one's listening to you. It's that we already have it. You have streaming. Go find it. Go watch it. Sit in the corner, drink your sippy cup, shut the fuck up. Because ain't nobody got time for all this extra that you throwing out here.
What was the TV show with the girl and her best friend was he was homosexual?
Was it Will and Grace?
Will and Grace.
Yeah, Will and Grace.
Right. So there's always been representation across
the representation has been there. The things that they are using the term woke for have already been done. We've had it. But the issue is we live in a time where there has never been such an easy way to gain information. But at the same time, we have a society that does not want that information. They don't want to spend the time. Well, I take it back. They don't want to spend the time to look for it themselves. They want it to be spoon-fed to them. They want somebody to go, hey, this is what you want. They don't want to have to go look for it. Perfect example. I was talking to my daughter, and I lost all hope for the future, but I was talking to my daughter, and she was telling me how her and her friends, when they're talking in text to each other, they don't use punctuations or periods or proper grammar. They don't capitalize the first letter of the first word because it makes them feel anxious. So they just don't use it. And I'm like, the thought of sending somebody just an infinitely long run-on sentence.
Everything Chris said, my daughter's in the back going.
Right. So they don't use it. And then when they can't think of something to say to themselves, to one another, they use a chat bot to finish the conversation because they don't know what to say. And they know when their friends are using the chat bot because the chat bot actually uses proper punctuation and grammar and everything. Like, and it's just like, there's nothing wrong with these things. Like, when did that become the hill y'all want to die on? Like,
it's like I'm talking to my daughters and they text me and I'm like, what did you say? No idea. They're short about everything. And then they get confused when you tell them the truth. I just told you, you're not listening.
Right. And so to me, I feel like that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were.
Yeah. And so it feels like woke has become just like such a generalized term that it has lost the meaning, not only of what it was supposed to originally mean, but even the meaning that they tried to give it. It feels like it has lost that as well because they can't back up the statement that they have of what they want woke to mean. So it's like, because if you ask, what does woke mean to you? Oh, well, woke means, and then they can't communicate it. They can't tell you, they can't process that thought pattern to tell you, this is what it means to me. They give you that generalized, well, Wikipedia or the internet or some Twitter feed somewhere told me this is what woke means. And it's like, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what woke means to you. But the individual, as much as they all want to be seen and they all want to be individuals, they have no understanding of what it means to actually be an individual because they all want to be together and recognized. Yeah. So they have no idea what they're looking for. They They are literally just they're like the Jews in the desert without Moses. They just wandering around with nobody to lead them nowhere because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're just grabbing stuff that they think sounds like what they want it to mean or comes close to fitting to what they're trying to describe to get noticed, but they can't find the correct words. And because they can't find the correct words, they can't describe it to us well enough for anybody to take them serious. And so what gets lost in that jumble, because if you can't, what was it, the Lincoln saying, better to be thought a fool in silence than to speak and be proven one.
Yeah.
And this generation don't know how not to talk.
and you pointed that out very poignantly, man. And it goes back to what I was saying about the hive mind, man. Because a lot of times, and I've actually had, and that's one of the main reasons too why I got off the internet, because you can't have discourse nowadays without people blowing up and stuff. People used to always. I've been involved in conversations where we might not have agreed on what we were talking about, but we were amicable and respectful towards each other.
Right.
That's another
Right.
thing that's pretty much out the window when it comes to social media. But the hive mind mentality. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. That thing of on the internet now, it's like if you say you don't like mangoes, people go, "Oh, so you hate oranges?" No, man, I just don't like mangoes.
Right.
I didn't say nothing about oranges, but that's exactly where it goes. It's immediately, if you're not on my side, you're an enemy. A lot of them, in geek terms, this generation, a lot of them are sifs because they deal in absolutes. You either are on my side or you're my enemy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And the example you gave about the mangoes, if they don't answer the way you said, they'll be like, "Oh, so why you don't like mangoes?" Like, bro, I just don't like mangoes. I get high when I have mangoes. Right. I don't like it, But yeah,
my
man.
niece is allergic to mangoes. Like,
right. I'm allergic to macadamia nuts, and I'll tell anybody in a minute. Look, I hate macadamia nuts. Like, oh, so you're a nut in what is it, elitist or something? And what's up, Sean? Why you ain't online, bro?
Yeah, Sean, what's up?
I'm gonna have Stone Cold Stone you next time I see you. But but yeah, man. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's frustrating to see that, man. And like Remo said, you take a word that was used in good intentions, and then you take it and you subvert it to something that in reality doesn't really make sense.
No.
When you start using the word in the way that you use it. But I mean, that's a whole nother story for another day. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to Matt with the candles in the background, looking like Sade is somewhere in the house. Go ahead, Matt. Tell us what you feel.
I'm gonna be real short and sweet. When you see people online talking about something that's woke, you just simply have to reply. If you don't want to fucking see the movie, don't go see it. Is that that's all it is right there. If you don't want to see this shit, don't go see it.
Yeah.
Because then everybody stated here, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, but it's everybody stated here throughout the annals of history in television. We have seen women leads, we've seen gay leads, we've seen black leads, we've seen white leads, we've seen Indian leads, we've seen
Asian leads.
You can just go right down the line, and every spectrum has been covered from A to Z.
Yep.
So for someone in 2024 to watch the trailer of a movie, and then sooner before the trailer is even cooled off, to get in the comment section on YouTube and say, "Well, ain't nobody going to watch this woke shit." Nobody is not going to watch this woke shit, but somebody's going to go watch it.
Okay. That's okay. You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
You don't not make it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then don't sit up and say, "Oh, well, this is woke," when that is not woke. When that is not the proper definition of what woke is.
It's
woke
just
is
something you don't like.
Yeah, that's all it is. Now woke is just I pull it out my ass because I don't know the proper term to say that I don't like this movie because it's played by a bunch of all white women or all black women or all yellow women or all Indian. I don't. And instead of them just saying that, that they're hiding they're
prejudice.
they're prejudiced, and then they're projecting. They're projecting on when it's all woke.
Yep.
Bro, you know, if you don't want to see it because of that, that's fine. Goes back to what Al said earlier. When he was talking about when we look at X-Men. Now, if you go not gender swap, but if you're going to go Professor X, we're going to make Professor X. You know, he's going to be instead of a wheelchair, we're going to put Stevie Wonder. He's going to be Professor X. You know, yeah, we've got a carbon copy. We got a major problem. So. But
you know what? I would live for that scene. To me, my X-Men.
That would be cool.
I would.
You just always got Cerebro on.
I mean, it's just
that would be awesome.
My thing is it irks me because I know the root of it is that they probably don't want to see the movie, or they have an issue with what's going on in their hand, bro. Look, for me, I didn't give a damn about the Marvels because the fact of the matter is, you know, it is what it is. But I didn't have any problem with who you know the women in the movie. I just that was not something that I was interested in seeing.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just looked at it, was like, okay, well, this probably ain't my cup of tea, so I'll pass on it, and then that's it. You know,
but I don't not want the characters to live. You know,
exactly.
It wasn't my movie. Don't blame the success, good or bad, on anybody. It was a good movie.
Right.
It did what it was supposed to do. Now we can make another one. Not
Perfect
that
example.
movie in particular, but we'll make another movie.
Yeah, perfect example of this. Apparently, old guys like me hated the new Little Mermaid. That was a black woman. What the hell was wrong with that movie? I had no issues with it. I watched it. Me and my wife watched it. We loved it. That was Ariel. Who cares? They made an issue out of that.
Yeah.
The same thing. They were doing the woke thing. I'm like, seriously? No. Didn't.
You mad a fictional character is not the color you want her to be.
Yeah.
Animated character.
Like,
But you know,
they didn't have red hair. So that was cool.
The most ironic thing about it is that you have what's going on, Arsenio.
Arsenio,
you have most people that will say that, but and I'm not trying to bring religion into the conversation, but if you go back to roots of religion, it started in an area there were no white people.
Yep.
To be honest, this is documented history. And the people might call this sacrilege, but Jesus was not a white man. He wasn't. Just based on the geographical area he was supposed to be from, he was not a Caucasian male. But you see what's about Jesus. Nobody bats an eye. Nobody complains. Nobody says anything. It is what it is, but you have a problem with Idris Elba becoming Heimdall, even though after the fact people were like, well, it wasn't too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, people complaining about the villain.
I think the Marvel it's a scapegoat. It's a villain. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Said what, Remo?
No, I said I just think it's a scapegoat. It's an easy way out. It's something
that's exactly what it is.
Out on whatever it is that you want to say. It's woke. Oh, that's the bad word. It's like, is it really woke though? Yeah. Are we really talking about that? Like, is that what it is? What's political? What conspiracy are you speaking of? You know what I mean? Like, is it? You're the one casting the doubt. No one else is saying that. You're saying it. So whenever somebody says woke, I look at the messenger and I'm like, oh, they're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to cast doubt using certain, words that you associate with discredit.
Buzzwords.
To discredit,
Well, you open up my eyeballs, Al. Because I've misrepresented that word many times.
Yeah.
I admit it. I have. I'm not afraid to say it.
Definitely not used in that context, and it was never negative. It was always, it was like a hidden. It's like a secret word to a speakeasy. It was a rallying cry. You know what I mean? Yep. It was like a code word.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's actually pretty cool.
And it got found out, and now we don't want to use that code word no more.
I wish we could snap it out of existence, man. Like, because it's just gotten to a point now where, man, I don't like waffles from IHOP. But you woke or something, like, bro, like, I just don't like waffles.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Right.
I just
I
don't
can-
like it. Like,
I just don't like them. Like,
It's
what
not a
happened to-
Waffle
what happened to
House.
not being
Sorry,
able to-
man. It's not a Waffle House. You get Waffle House, you get a waffle, you get chicken.
Yeah. It's like going to Roscoe's. It's like, yeah, I like Roscoe's, but I don't necessarily like their waffles. You know?
I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna be quiet so that you can do whatever you want. Y'all want to talk. In comic books, the Ultimate Universe, they made one of my favorite characters homosexual. That character happened to be Colossus.
Yeah.
I'm a long time fan of Colossus. I didn't like that. Not that I have anything against homosexuals, because I don't.
No.
But I didn't like the fact that they went and made a character that I know from years, you know. And of course, the Ultimate Universe is a different universe. I just didn't like that because I'm like, Kitty Pryde, you can say he's a PDF. I don't know. But I just grew up with Colossus in this particular character in my mind. So what I decided to do, I didn't buy it because I just didn't like that. I didn't go out in the world and say, I hate the Ultimate Colossus and all this. I just didn't partake in it, And I think most people can't grasp that in their head. If it's something that you don't like you said, Remo and Matt said, don't watch it, don't indulge in it, don't read it.
Right.
But everything that you come across that to be woke is not woke. That's just you with some insecurity that you have, or you might not be able to express yourself in a way that you can convey your thought properly. So you just use that word woke to encompass everything that you feel. And at this point, I'm really tired of the word. I wish it would just go somewhere and die.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right there with you, man.
That'd be scary. I was going to say, that'd be scary, though, Al, to think about Colossus being gay. Man.
And I think in the Ultimate Universe,
oh, man. I'd be scared.
I want to say him and Wolverine was actually like they had a tryst in Ultimate Universe.
I think so.
Gave us Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and they were in an incestuous relationship. So you know.
Yep.
I batted it out about that either. They weren't woke back then.
Come on, Sue. Does anybody want to have any pancakes and play basketball?
Play basketball. I would imagine Colossus is a power top. Like, just calling it. Like, I imagine Colossus is not much of a son.
Chris, I couldn't wrap my head around it, man. Like that, I don't even want to read this. I'm just,
that's
the thing too, though. That's where they confuse that word woke. Now, because of that, I remember reading that, and I actually read that book. I think I might have it, with Colossus being homosexual.
I don't want to read it.
But they need. Here's the thing, though. Here's another thing where people get it taken out of context too. When they say woke, they're saying they don't like how they change a gender identity of a person who was straight their whole life, or vice versa. And some people use that same word the same way to identify that that's what that is. And that's incorrect. As you said, it's incorrectly done and said wrong. You just didn't like it. The same thing with me. There's certain things I don't like because it's like they change a man into a woman now. Now she's a woman. Now it's a woman character. It's hard to wrap your head around it when you read him for years as being a man.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
That kind of, like I said, if it's organic, if it's something that you, alternate universes, whatever, but I don't think, I have issue with that, to a certain degree. But if it's like a character like the character that was in Darwin in the Marvels, like people didn't really care about that character in the first place. You just complaining because they switch the gender. Like, if would Heimdall have been you if he was any other race? I mean, Idris Elba is an excellent actor,
Right.
and he pulled off the role very well. To people for the most part, they accepted him as being Heimdall. Hogan, one of the Warriors 3 in the Thor mythos, he's been depicted as an Asian guy, but Thor is based on Norse mythology, so go figure. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think people like to pick and choose certain things and run with it, how they express themselves, so they just throw it on the table.
Perfect
with that word, which I'm not gonna say. Go ahead.
Perfect examples. If none of you guys watched the Amazon Batman, the Dark Detective that came out, or the new Batman animated that came out, yeah, they made the Penguin female. Nobody complained about it in the cartoon because it worked in the context that they changed it to a female, because in the 1940s nobody would think a woman would be a crime boss. So that concept worked for the show. You know what I'm saying? And if they do something like that, then that I can get behind that, no problem, because that actually makes sense. They didn't just change the character from male to female just because. They actually change the story to where it makes sense that if this was a female character in this time period, this would work. And that I can get behind. But all this, when they, like you said, G-Man, when they just decide, well, this character is now going to be a woman. This character's been a man for like 50 years.
Yeah. That's kind of hard. Then I just don't watch.
Yeah.
I just don't watch. I just, like Al, I get it. I get it. But I am so happy that you brought up the exact definition of what it means. I'm so happy. And I hope the gentlemen, if you're out there and you're watching this, you're actually learning something.
I know we have a small following and everything, but man, I've been telling Matt for
I'm
a while.
simulcasting this on my channel too, you guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
but I've been wanting to do. Go ahead, G-Man.
No, I'm simulcasting on my channel your show tonight, so I want more people to see this. It's excellent.
I'm just hoping people will be more open in that and be more, really open to just this person and the whole nine, man. Because I mean, so many people are so I can't think of the word, but they're so short-sighted and they have blinders on like horses, where they can't see anything. Ignorant, exactly. Yep. You know, I mean,
and unfortunately, I live in a town of a lot of ignorance, and all my people out here that live in my town, and if you're watching, I'm talking to you. I go, wake up, just wake up. You know, you guys, all my Wisconsinites out there that are watching in my town, watching this show right now, I know they are because I hear about it when I'm at work. Too bad. Grow up.
Grow up. I like that one. Grow up.
And I'm being nice.
Yeah.
A lot worse.
Grow up. Yeah. We know, especially me. I know. All right, gentlemen. Awesome discussion there. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are liking and subscribing.
Hit that like and subscribe, please.
Yep. Please. All right, here we go. All right. I have nothing.
Oh, really? You do not. Come
on.
What? You got something. Matt, you got something.
I've got something. It's a new car that's parked right out that door that I'm paying for. I'm not buying.
Okay, there it is. You made it a dope part.
I got a 9.8 variant sitting right out there in that driveway.
One of them heritage options, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Matt serious about that, boy. Matt said he ain't buying no new comic book no time soon. So.
Ask Alan there. I ain't even looked at a comic book store. I said I'll go for Black Friday, and that'll be it. As far as I go is Black Friday. That's it, man. Nope, not me.
Boy,
responsibilities.
Yeah, I got that. I gotta have this. Try to get this thing paid off before Heroes Con, man. I gotta go to Heroes Con, man. Tell you that thing is life changing.
I have lawyer fees killing me right now.
That'll do it. That'll do it too.
It's
Man,
ridiculous.
what you got, man? I know you got some good stuff over there.
I got this. I should say I didn't. The Queen did, and this is an awesome find. I was happy to show this on my show today, and Al I know is going to love this. He's seen it earlier, but check this out. See if I can put you in a little tease.
Oh yeah.
This box is huge, and it's got the actual Japanese poster in it, but it's Godzilla and Mothra. Look how big
Man,
that
I
is.
love that with all my heart, man. That is so nice, man, for real.
I love it. It's heavy too, you guys. This is really nice. But yeah, the Queen found that. I'm like, oh my God, baby, you found a gem. So this was cool.
Seriously.
And I don't want to go through all of that. Let's see. I went through a bunch of horror books and some other stuff earlier. I'm good. That's it. That was my one haul for the week.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, actually, I do. My birthday was Monday, and so last weekend we did a
Oh
late
my
party.
goodness! Happy birthday!
Why you didn't tell us in the chat?
Mine was on Tuesday, Chris. Mine was on Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh,
Happy
man,
belated
my
birthday to you too.
So Chris is the one I got Chris confused with Sean because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, wait a minute, did we miss Sean? I remember Sean's birthday.
Yeah.
Sean's birthday came too.
So you the Scorpio then. Okay, all right.
No, I'm a Libra.
He's a Libra. He's a Libra.
Yeah.
Well, I won't forget that because it's the day after Laisa's birthday, so I'll never forget that. So
I did some hunting once again. From y'all know I'm always on the hunt for really great build sets, off-brand Lego sets, and I came across these.
What?
I found a Lego. I mean, it's off-brand. But it's an alien.
Dude, that is awesome.
Chris, you said off-brand.
Yeah, because it's not done by Lego, but it's a Lego set. Like,
still, that's cool. That is really cool.
Nice.
And even better though is I found a Predator to go with him.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
Who makes it?
Shasta.
Right. Like it's some company I found on Amazon that does
Shasta Piers Wiley.
like, and they actually did
really cool.
and I was just like, well, I got to get both of them now. It actually has a little piece in his mouth too for the other mouthpiece to come out.
I need to get that. I need to find that.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty damn cool. You can find something like that, man. And it's 20 times cheaper than if you know.
You kidding me? Yeah.
Lego put their name.
Was able to find this without it breaking the bank.
Yeah.
Nice.
Found a Mona Lisa to put up on the wall.
I love it.
Got it for under the $100 that it normally goes for.
What's up, Wiley?
I love it.
We shall.
Hold on, bring it back. Bring it back.
Comic Hawk Crew.
I love it.
But that's it for me. That's all I got. Everything else is just kind of months back.
Remo?
Actually, I got I'm only going to show one book because it's kind of crazy because I talked to you about it a long time ago. And when I first got back into comics, I was watching one of Hialeah's show. And he had got the book. And ever since he got it, I was like, that book is dope. I need to get that one. I didn't know that was that book. And I talked to you about it in the past. And I've been looking for a good, nice copy of it. You know what I mean? And I passed on a bunch. And it's not an overly expensive book. It's just I wanted to get a good copy of it. And one day Brian McClay was on his show. And he was like, he had got a collection. And he was going over books he was going to sell. And he showed the book, and I was like, I DM'd him, and I'm like, how much do you want for it? And he was like, oh, you want that book? And I didn't tell him like it was one of the books I really
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, you want that book? And he was like, and I was like, yeah, how much you want for it? He was like, oh, I'll just send it to you. You can have it. And I was like, oh shit. He was like, yeah, just give me your address, and I'll ship it out to you. And I'm like, cool. And that book was.
Yeah, I want to know what the book is. You got me excited. I want to know what it is.
Drum roll, please.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Nice.
And a really, 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 really nice copy.
Nice.
That's awesome.
For the free $99.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Brian.
So yeah, so got that, and then I always pick up the Sinister Daredevil covers, so I got
yeah, love it.
just on the strap alone. I was like, let me get that.
Let me ask you this, Remo. Is that a second print? Because I thought I thought it was a blue background instead of a yellow one.
Oh, it's yellow.
No, it's yellow. Yeah,
it's yellow. Okay, I'm thinking about another.
This is a really nice copy too. This is like, yeah.
The question you need to be asking is, how the hell is he shooting?
Right? I don't want no part.
What is he shooting? Who is he shooting at?
Miller's work? Was that Miller's work?
Frank Miller. Yeah, that's Frank Miller. Yeah, that's Frank Miller.
Yeah, that's Frank Miller.
That's Frank Miller, right?
Yeah.
I've been buying books, but I haven't been really getting. I mean, I got stuff that's like, I don't know if you guys are into the Moon is Following Us. I got the one I think it's a 1 in 15, 1 in 10, or something like that.
I didn't know anything about that.
Is it good?
The Pharaoh. I'm a big supporter of Trish Forstner, and
that's a good
I
one.
have been reading that. Yeah, that's actually really
this
good.
is the what's her name? Maria Wolf. I'm sorry. Thanks, man. Maria Wolf cover. Maria Wolf and Trish Forstner. And then this is Tony Fleeks and Trish Forstner.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I always support them, all the time. Those are good people. Trish is the best, you know what I mean? So whatever she does, I'll support it wholeheartedly. So I like those covers, so that's why I picked up.
All right, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I got a few books I picked up. Modern books, but of course, I love the X-Men. X-Force 3. This is volume 7. X-Men number 6. X-Factor number 3. And 2 non-X-Men books. Of course, I'm a fan of that old school 70s goodness. They have a series from Mad Cave Comics, and it's pretty good. The art is pretty good as well. But it's Gotcha Man number 4, which is Battle of the Planets over here in America. So they got an ongoing series now with Mad Cave Comics, and it's pretty good. There's also a Space Ghost series that I actually.
It is pretty good.
Is it Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
No,
it ain't Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Not with Moltar and all them on there, man. But it would be dope if they did Space Ghost Coast to Coast comic. But anyway, this is a side series to go along with Gotcha Man, Galactor, which he was. I can't remember his name in Battle of the Planets, but it wasn't Galactor, but he's the head of Spectrum. But yeah, this is 3 or 4. It's been pretty good too. But that's it for me, man.
Sweet. Also, man, excellent showings tonight, man. Always good to see the good stuff, man. And I'll just check it to make sure we hadn't missed anything in the chat. But gentlemen, I want to say thank you all for linking up.
Absolutely.
I'll begin with Rico probably sometime this week. We're gonna finalize this Black History show, so that'll probably be the next show, because in a couple of weeks it'll be damn near Thanksgiving. Ain't that something? Like 3 weeks away for Thanksgiving.
About 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
For everybody in the streets, as y'all are going through online, please, if you see anything on Instagram or your local LCS sales, please forward it to us. Do our annual Black Friday review of sales. When we come off of Black Friday, make sure you send those to us. Also, if you have not subscribed to us, once again, we implore you to go over, hit subscribe. It's free. Like, it's free. Share, it's free as well.
And comment.
And comment, yeah.
Would be nice. It would be really nice.
And comment like you got some damn sense.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. We had one guy that showed up one time. He got the band hammer pretty quick. He didn't like.
I got the same thing.
Yeah, you didn't see it, so we went ahead and dropped the hammer on him. But
I gotta start broadcasting the show from my channel too.
Yeah, man. Please do, man.
Yeah,
more eyes.
Yep. And for Al, Chris, Remo, G-Man, you got something you want to say, Al?
Yes, I text you, but you didn't look like you.
No, I got my phone on mute.
No worries. I just wanted to make an announcement, and I made it on G-Man's channel earlier. Just a couple of quick announcements. The first announcement is that I'm actually launching my YouTube channel on November the 1st. And I'm about to put the link down in the chat. It's not active yet, so if you go over there, it says no content, but I got content waiting to be seen. The channel is called Everything According to Al, and I've been working on this channel for about 2.5 years. Laziness is actually what actually caused me not to put it out, but because of my current situation, I figured I need to do some stuff and get it on off the ground. So if you can, please like and subscribe. Well, actually subscribe. You can't like none yet, but subscribe, and you're gonna see a lot of stuff because I'm gonna be talking about comic books, movies, music, the whole 9 yards, and I'm gonna link the Comic Hall crew in there too. So yeah, go ahead and like that. And the second thing is on that same day, I'll actually be starting a GoFundMe page. For those that don't know, I have stage 3 colon cancer. Everything is good for right now. I'm going through cancer treatment. That's why you see my eyes looking like I smoke dope, but I don't smoke.
No.
I'm not on any illicit drugs. All the drugs that I'm on are administered by an oncologist. But I'll be starting a GoFundMe because I'm trying to pay these bills, but the hospital won't let me be great.
No, medical bills keep coming in.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be starting that too, and I'll be sharing that on my social media whenever I log back on. So if you get spare a couple of bucks dealing with cancer, by all means. If not, you can't do it. You just can't do it. But yeah, that's all I needed to say, man. That's all I need to say.
All right, man. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my boy Al and share. So,
please.
All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you for coming out tonight, joining us. Good to be back. We'll be back soon. Like I said, we're going to try to get this Black History Show lined up. And everybody be safe. Go vote. And,
yes. Go vote.
Go, VOTE. Go vote. All right. Vote. All right. We are out. And I'm not going to tell you who, but just go vote.
Good night, everybody.